Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. And on the screen today, you're going to be watching some Black Ops 4 gameplay. But today we do have another article courtesy of Charlie Intel talking about the minimap. And it says Call of Duty Modern Warfare does not feature a minimap in standard modes. There's no minimap by default in Modern Warfare multiplayer across standard modes. This represents one of the biggest changes to a core functionality of Call of Duty in a while. Infinity Ward's thought process in how they approached the design for this year's game was taking a look at every single aspect of Call of Duty's past and see what was added unnecessarily. For players that want the minimap, the only way to enable it in standard modes is through kill streaks. You have 3 kill streak options for the minimap in multiplayer. First is the personal radar awarded at 3 kills. This just pulls up the standard minimap just for you if you equip this streak. At 4 kills, it's the regular UAV from past games. At 12 kills, the advanced UAV makes a return, showcasing more detailed information on the minimap, which I'm assuming is going to show like direction and stuff, just like the Blackbird. We first played Modern Warfare multiplayer at the Infinity Ward Studios back in May, and my first reaction was, where's the minimap? For players just joining on board to the game, there's no easy way to learn the maps and understand where to move without affecting match flow. Of course, you can press start and see the minimap, but that takes away from the immersion of the overall game. When I asked back then, they reiterated that not many users actually noticed the minimap being gone in their play testing sessions. Well then, I don't know what kind of people you're inviting, because like you must be inviting some people like that play hardcore only or something, because if you ask, like if I ask any one of my friends, or if you ask me, then like the first thing I do when I spawn in is I look at my map. Yo, where's everybody going? Like when the game starts, like I'm looking, okay, I'm going this way, this guy's going this way, this guy's going this way. Like I don't know what kind of people they invited. Anyway, but after playing the game twice now, it's evident that no always on minimap basically changes how you play, and you have to be able to take on audio cues more effectively. The audio in the game is quite incredible with the new engine, although player footsteps are a tad too loud for my liking. And so here's the thing. I understand that, they want to be like the innovative and, everything like that. But hear me out real quick. No minimap, I feel, is a problem. And it's not just because it makes the game harder. Like, I don't mind a challenge. I mean, really and truly, I prefer a challenge, because then it forces you to learn the game, right? It forces you to learn new mechanics. It forces you to listen and use your other senses and your situational awareness, right? It forces you to learn the maps without just looking at your map, right? It forces you to learn the guns and all the ins and outs of the game and everything like that, right? The developers put these things in the game so you can actually use it, right? So, I don't really mind that, right? But me, when I'm playing, and I'm sure I could speak for a lot of other people, I don't really want my teammates beside me, especially if you're playing with random players in, like a pub, like just a regular public match, and you're on your warm-up game. It's your first game of the day, right? You want to stay far away from your teammates. If I'm not in communication with somebody, I want to stay far away from them. And yes, you can make the argument, obviously, that it makes the game more immersive and whatever stuff like that, but having no minimap means that there's going to be 2 things that you have to use at all times to even have a chance at being successful, like playing this game, right? So one of them is obviously the UAV, right? Because when you call in the UAV, you get your map back, and just by looking at your map, you get a lot of information, such as the position of like where your teammates are or an objective, and using that information, you could say, like, you can assume or predict the position of the other team and where they're spawning, right? And then obviously the second one is going to be Ghost, or whatever the equivalent of Ghost is. I'm pretty sure like it's normally called Ghost, right? But the reason you need that is because everybody's going to be running UAV, right? And you're going to have that Ghost on, or you're going to be on the UAV for the whole game, right? Because everybody's going to have it on, right? Because everybody's going to want their minimap back, right? Because then using the minimap, just like I said, then you could see, like, you get a lot of information from the minimap. People just look, oh yeah, you just look for the red dots and this, that, whatever, right? But you can see where your teammates are, so then that's where the enemies are, right? Just because you don't see red dots on the map doesn't mean there's not enemies there, right? Because you can safely assume, like I said, if your whole team is on the left side of the map, you can assume that the enemy team is on the right side or they're spawning there, right? I also like I want the minimap back because like people camped even when they had a minimap. So now people are gonna be more scared to move, and they're gonna hold down more lines of sight, and they're gonna play even more passive than before, right? Because now, like, you know, if you look at a new COD player, right, like they're like you're scared, right? Like even like when I first started playing, like I was scared to go out and die, right? And so, you know, I played more passively. Now it's just, you know, you run around, this, that, whatever. Like, you know, you've been playing the game for so long, right? You run around, you die, whatever, this, that. Like, you know, you actually enjoy the game now. Like, you don't care, right? So, you know, I hope they have a change of heart, or, you know, they add the mini map back, or, you know, something like that. Because, like, I feel like this change definitely wasn't needed. And I feel like if they bring it back, it's going to be better for the whole thing. I mean, unless, like, you know, they like unless the community actually has like a voice this year and they give feedback to the developers, to Infinity Ward and stuff like that, and you know they actually listen. Because I mean, you know, or maybe they add like a game mode or something where like you have your mini map, right? Because if you remember in COD Ghosts, people were complaining that everybody was dying quick, right? Like the health was like super low, or the time to kill was like super high and stuff like that. So, you know, then the developers heard that, and then they added, I forgot what it's called. It was that like heavy duty playlist or something like that, and it took a little bit longer to kill people, and you know, everything like that, right? So it gave a little more balance to the game, and the community actually said, okay, you know what, we want this. And Infinity Ward said, okay, you know what, you guys asked for this, so we're gonna add it. So hopefully, if the community asks for, you know, a mini map like playlist or game mode or whatever, then Infinity Ward says, okay, you know what, like we hear you, and we're gonna add it for, you know, a limited time, or you know, whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, so overall, I said I don't, you know, like I said, I don't think it's needed, but hopefully there's like they give some like they're open to feedback about it when the game actually comes out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As always, thank you for taking the time every day to watch my video. Very much appreciated. All relevant links are in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next one.